Hi, I'm Linda.
And I'm Troy, and we are Wines, Pines, and Canines. In today's video, we're going to revisit a recent mod where we added a directional vent to our Coleman non-ducted AC unit.
Now, we did this modification about 6 months ago and had posted it at the end of a video around that time, and we're going to link that here for step-by-step.
Now, when we did it, we couldn't really test it because it was the middle of the winter, but we just got back from our summer trip and we had plenty of time to evaluate it.
And our original goal was to try to lower the sound inside the camper and to increase the airflow.
Yeah. Now, even though we didn't see a great reduction in the sound or decibel rating of the AC unit, we did find a way to really get some great benefit from it.
And that's today's video. We're going to quickly recap that modification in case you weren't looking for an AC mod back in February or March and may have missed it. And we're also going to talk about those benefits, as well as if you're still looking to upgrade the ceiling assembly, that's the piece we modified, we're going to give you some options for digital, Bluetooth, heat strip ready, as well as those vents.
This was a very simple project. It took about 10 minutes. It requires a hole saw, a drill, and about a $20 vent.
Now, the first thing we did was go ahead and cut all the power to the unit. Then we popped out the air filters, popped off the little knobs, and 4 screws, and the ceiling assembly was down. We took it outside, located the center of where we wanted to place the vent. Then Troy cut it with the 4.5-inch hole saw. We popped that vent in, brought it back into the camper, put it all back up. Okay, so that was a quick recap of the modification, and the reason we wanted to revisit this is after our recent trip, we found we really like this modification. I mean, I believe it's in our top 3, and because it's such an easy modification, for those of you that have a similar unit, I think it's a great option.
Yeah, the greatest advantage is with the directional vent, it allows us to get comfortable much quicker, and we can run it on low. And running it on low is a lot quieter, obviously, than full blast, so it's a lot more enjoyable inside the camper.
Yes, with those directional vents, so whether you're in the kitchen or the living room or the bedroom, you know, you can move those directional vents around to follow you. Before, unless you were 7 feet tall, you weren't feeling any airflow. Both
of us felt cooler in the camper after doing the mod, but we always like to test out every suspicion. I use this. In my shop, I have a thermohygrometer. Thermohygrometers are very useful because they measure relative humidity and temperature with very good accuracy. And that allowed us to explore a little bit the result.
So what we did was we placed that on the couch and ran a couple of tests. The first one, we put the AC on low cool, opened the vent, and measured the temperature after 10 minutes. Then we closed the vent and measured the temperature again. What we were finding is the spot on the couch, which makes sense because the cold air is being directed towards it now, was running about 3 degrees cooler than the rest of the camper. When we closed the vent, that temperature climbed and, you know, got more in line or even a little bit higher than what it was on the wall thermostat.
So after all that, what do you think is our conclusion here, Linda?
Well, I think my conclusion is I don't know that it cools the camper overall because you're not increasing the airflow, you're just redirecting it, but it does cool off my spot quicker, which I'm okay with.
And that is why it's a successful AC mod.
So let's talk ceiling assemblies. This is the one from our camper. Now, when I started this quest to figure out a way to maybe make the air conditioning unit work a little bit better for us, I kind of researched on the internet and I found that you can actually change these out. Now, if you have any questions, I do recommend calling Excel, which is the company that makes the Coleman. I did call them with a few questions and they were very helpful in answering my questions. Now, what I'm going to do is post the model numbers here below of the ones that I did find that would work with mine, but always check your model number for compatibility. Now, this one here, there is one that is very similar, but instead of this large vent, it has two smaller vents. It's about $130. That is the one that made me think, why couldn't we just put our own vent in there? Now, the benefit and what you get for the additional money is the fact that it is now heat strip ready. But heat strip ready does not mean that it's going to actually have a full-on heater inside of it. When I called Excel and I asked them about the details, they told me they really call it a chill chaser. So it's not going to take the place of your propane heater or an electric heater. It more just kind of chases the chill from the air if it's slightly cool. So I don't want you to think that, according to them, that you could put it in and never use your propane heater again. Now, the other option is more expensive. It's about $300, but it looks very similar again. But instead of these knobs that you're always having to turn from, red to blue, it has a digital thermostat, so you can set the temperature that you want that AC to stay at. In addition, it is heat strip ready, and the other benefit is instead of the right now when the AC cuts off, the compressor cuts off, but that fan is always running in the background. The digital version allows you the option to turn that fan off, so when the compressor cuts off, the fan cuts off. So it's really, for me, it's kind of like, do I really want the background noise, so when the compressor's cutting on and off, I don't really notice it much at night, or do I just want the compressor to cut off and the fan to cut off at the same time? So those are the two options that I have found. If you have any questions, like I said, I would always reach out to Excel. Now, that pretty much wraps up today's video. So if you'd like to see more in the future, please like and subscribe. And remember, Desi always wants you to hit that notification bell.